The truth don't stay quiet. I didn't sleep that night. Not from fear, no. I've lived through enough to know how fear smells, how it moves. This wasn't that. This was something colder, deeper. The kind of knowing that settles in your bones when you realize you've just stepped into a game that was never meant to be played fair. That envelope changed everything. And the silence that followed, that was the loudest threat of all. The next few days were strange. No press, no response from the law firm, nothing. But strange things started happening. Malik's school counselor called, said a man had been asking questions about him, posing as a reporter. A black SUV showed up parked across from our house 2 nights in a row. No plates, tinted windows. Sat there for hours. Left when I stepped outside. I filed a police report. They took notes, nodded politely. But you could feel it, how lightly they held the pen. That's when I knew. We were alone in this. But not helpless. Malik doubled down. He started documenting everything, every message, every car, every shady call. He reached out to journalists, activists, lawyers who actually believed in justice. He even launched a web series, Stolen Blocks, highlighting how black neighborhoods were being gutted, packaged, and resold with no regard for the people who built them. He spoke with passion. But more than that, he spoke with facts, receipts, maps, contracts, everything that firm didn't think anyone would look twice at. And the people listened. His first episode hit 100K views in a week. Community leaders started echoing his ideas. City council members reached out. Malik was no longer just a kid who held his own in court. He was becoming a symbol. Then the firm struck back. They didn't send thugs. They sent lawsuits, cease and desist letters, claims of defamation, legal jargon wrapped in intimidation. They wanted Malik silenced, erased. But Malik, he'd learned from that courtroom. He knew how to fight back with clarity, with poise. We lawyered up, found a black civil rights attorney who had marched with giants and battled corporations twice this size. She told Malik, "They want you quiet because they know your voice moves people, so keep speaking." He did. But the cost? It started bleeding into everything. Friends at school stopped talking to him. Teachers warned him to focus on college applications instead of getting political. Our landlord raised the rent without warning, said it was the market. Even family members started calling, saying, "You're making too much noise," or "Don't bring trouble to our door." I saw it on Malik's face, the fatigue, the weight of it all pressing on his shoulders. One night I found him sitting in the living room in the dark, staring at nothing. I sat beside him. Didn't say a word for a while. Then I said, "You can stop if you want. No shame in that. You don't owe the world your peace." He looked at me, eyes heavy but fire still burning. "I'm not doing this for the world, Dad. I'm doing it for us." Then came the moment that pushed us past the edge. A package arrived. It looked like a care package, addressed to Malik. No return label. Inside, on top, was a teddy bear. Underneath it, a burnt copy of Malik's court sketchbook. Every page blackened, except the last. It was the drawing he made of himself on trial, alone, vulnerable. And written in red ink across the top were 5 words. "Next time, it won't be paper." I couldn't hold back anymore. I called the one journalist I trusted, a woman who had covered corruption in the South and faced her own battles. I told her everything, and she said 5 words back. "You need to go public." That night, Malik and I recorded a message. Raw, honest, just us and the camera. We told the truth, from the courtroom to the threats, the silence, the power plays, the pain. We didn't sugarcoat a thing. Before posting it, I turned to Malik and asked, "Are you sure?" He nodded. "We don't need permission to tell our story." We hit upload, then waited. 3 hours later, it had 250,000 views. 6 hours later, we got a message. Anonymous, encrypted. Attached was a voice recording. The voice was distorted, but the words were crystal clear. Your son's truth is dangerous. He found something he wasn't supposed to. If you want him safe, tell him to stop digging. The audio cut off, but not before one final line. That case he beat in court, it wasn't what it looked like. They say when you dig too deep, you either hit gold or you find bones. We found both. Malik's story had already struck a nerve, but that distorted voice message, that was something else. It wasn't just a warning, it was a breadcrumb. And Malik? He was done being scared. He was ready to follow it. We started with the trial, the one that started it all. Malik's case, the one that should have ended with justice, and instead opened a door we never meant to walk through. I requested court transcripts, looked deeper at the arrest record, the police body cam footage, what little there was, and then Malik said something that stuck with me. Dad, what if I wasn't the target? What if I was the distraction? That question hit different, because looking back, everything felt rushed. The DA dropped the charges quicker than expected. Evidence was half-baked. And that smug lawyer? He didn't lose like someone who cared. He lost like someone who already got what he came for. Through one of his activist connections, Malik got access to public housing rezoning documents tied to his case. And there it was, buried under legalese and council records, a name. Langston Corporation, a shell company. Created 1 week after Malik's arrest, owned by an affiliate of the same law firm that prosecuted him, the same firm that mentored him. They had bought up properties near where Malik was arrested, right after the trial ended, cheap, because the neighborhood had high crime activity now. It wasn't about the trial. It was about using Malik's arrest to shift public perception, to turn a black neighborhood into a bad investment, so they could buy it up for pennies. He wasn't just the defendant. He was the bait. We confronted the firm. This time, we didn't go through the front door. We sent everything to a journalist, a real one, and she started making calls. She didn't even get past her second inquiry before she got a message. Drop this. It's bigger than you. But she didn't. The next morning, the lawyer, the same one who once laughed at my son in court, released a press statement. Said Malik was defaming a reputable firm. Said our claims were dangerous conspiracy theories fueled by internet mobs. But he was shaking. We saw it in his voice, his face. Because this time, Malik wasn't in a courtroom playing defense. This time, he was holding the receipts. Then came the real backlash. Malik's school threatened suspension for unauthorized political activism. Our landlord? Eviction notice. Even some black media outlets wouldn't touch the story. Too hot. That's when I saw Malik breaking again. Not on the outside, but inside. One night I found him sitting on the porch alone, hoodie over his head, phone off. He whispered, I thought truth was supposed to set us free. I sat down next to him, looked him dead in the eyes and said, Son, truth don't set them free. It sets us on fire, because we carry it different. But you hear me? We burn so they can't build lies on our ashes. He nodded, wiped his face, and the next morning, he got up and kept going. We published a full expose, data, documents, leaked emails, testimonies. Malik narrated the whole thing. Calm, fierce, unapologetic. And in the final seconds of the video, he revealed something that stopped my heart. A name. The name of the officer who arrested him. The same officer now working private security for the law firm. The same man who falsified arrests on 3 other black teens in that same district. All cases that resulted in property seizures, public outrage, and depressed home values. They'd been doing this for years, using young black boys as pawns in property games, framing struggle as threat, framing poverty as decay, framing justice as noise. That night, I watched Malik sleep. The same boy who used to fall asleep sketching superheroes, now risking his future just to prove he wasn't crazy. And I couldn't help but ask myself, how many Maliks never got the chance to fight back? How many were buried under charges, statistics, projects, and policies? We teach our sons to be strong, but we don't tell them that truth might be the heaviest thing they'll ever carry. The next morning, Malik's video crossed 1 million views. Then 2, then 3. Then the message came. No text, just a video. A man in a dark room. No face, just a voice. You found what you weren't supposed to. But there's more. This doesn't stop with your son. You need to ask yourself, who gave the order?